Hello everyone, welcome to Minghui Radio, bringing you podcasts of stories relating to the persecution of Falun Gong in China, insights and experiences gained by practitioners during the course of their cultivation, special items of interest, and music composed and performed by Dafa practitioners.
The following is an experience-sharing article entitled Eliminating Jealousy and Resentment by a Falun Dafa practitioner outside of China. The article was published on the Minghui website on August 11, 2023. In the book, The Ultimate Goal of Communism, it says, quote, "The essence of communism is an evil spirit, which is composed of hatred and all kinds of rotten things in the lower dimensions. Out of hatred, it has massacred more than 100 million people and destroyed thousands of years of splendid civilization. Out of hatred, it has unscrupulously corrupted human morality, lured people away from God, and betrayed God in order to achieve its ultimate goal of destroying mankind." Unquote. Hatred and resentment often appear as substances in my dimensional field. Once, when I was concentrating on eliminating them, I discovered that in another dimension, my attachments and desires generated hatred. I also found that there is a demon that will fan the flames, sow discord, and create feelings of unfairness. It uses bad notions I've formed, as well as attachments and desires that I have not yet eliminated, to generate the substance of hatred, and then imposes it on me. This usually manifests as feelings of jealousy and resentment. Because my cultivation level is limited, I usually cannot clearly see this substance, and thus not reject it. Part 1. Eliminating Jealousy. Jealousy has been a very stubborn attachment for me. Jealousy can easily lead to resentment. During my 2.5 years of cultivation, I have focused on getting rid of it. For example, I often talk about it while discussing cultivation experiences with other practitioners. I also talk with Western practitioners as they have been living in a normal society with no Chinese Communist Party, CCP, culture. When I actively try to cultivate myself and eliminate my jealousy, Master enlightens me. My not being able to see my own bad behavior and always wanting to justify things are two major sources of my jealousy. It mainly manifests when I can't stand some people's bad habits, such as showing off, being cunning, flattery, taking advantage of others, and so on. Especially when it touches on my own interests, I just can't tolerate it. I label those people and form a prejudice against them. This person is selfish and doesn't deserve good things. My strong competitive mentality is another manifestation of my jealousy, especially toward those whose conduct seems bad to me, or when someone gets good things without putting in much effort. I feel the situation is unfair, and I'm jealous. I have a wrong notion. I always feel a person's ability, effort, and moral character should determine how well he does. If a person isn't very capable, doesn't try hard, his character is not good, or he is selfish, opportunistic, or cunning, I feel that he should not be doing well. Master said in Fa teaching at the U.S. Capitol, quote, "No matter how smart or cunning a person is, everything ends up the same in the end. Let's take the case of someone who is very dumb. You may find one person stupid and naive, while another is very cunning. But no matter how you live your life, the outcome is the same. It definitely won't change any just because a person is cunning, nor will it change any because a person is naive. All that being cunning can do is turn you into a worse person, and while you create karma, you will slide down. As your surroundings and you yourself become tense and strained, the minds of those around you will in turn grow even more complicated, and then their complicated thinking will in turn cause you to grow still worse." Unquote. Master's Fa untied the knot in my heart, and I found that I have a strong attachment, a feeling of unfairness hidden in my jealousy. For example, when others are cunning and opportunistic but always seem to succeed, I feel it's unfair, and I feel unsettled when they do well. But the principles of the universe are always fair. When I think that something isn't fair, then I regard myself as an ordinary person because on the surface, things in the ordinary world are unfair. When I think things are not fair, it is a manifestation of not believing in Master and the Fa. This also shows that I still have a lot of attachments to fame and gain, because I always judge good and bad based on how well a person does. A cultivator should not care about gains and losses in the human world. When I see another person's shortcomings, I have negative thoughts about them. I have a hard time letting it go if I think someone is selfish and cunning. As a practitioner, I should look inward. However, since I'm not tolerant, I'm often obsessed with other people's attachments, and I can't get out of the rut. Another thing that provokes my jealousy is not wanting to fall behind, and the thought that I should not walk behind others. This mentality comes from the CCP indoctrination of struggle and being competitive. Although I don't really think highly of myself, I sometimes feel discouraged due to my lack of ability. In everyday life, it looks like I have gained things through hard work. These experiences gradually pulled me into a trap. I feel happy when I do better than others, and whenever others do better than I, my competitive mentality explodes. I cannot accept that I am inferior. I feel anxious because I'm unable to comprehend that there are certain things that I can't accomplish. I think that there is nothing wrong with putting in hard work and feeling a sense of accomplishment. My problem is that my brain gives me the illusion that my happiness results from being better than others. Now that I have recognized this, I need to gradually change my thinking. When I start to feel anxious, competitive, and have the urge to try harder, then I'm going along with the false notion that all people are moving in the same direction and are on the same track. But in fact, everyone has a different path, even though it may not look like it on the surface. When I feel competitive, I must calm down and think about whether I have deviated from my path. At my current level, I realized when I'm thinking about something a lot and I feel pressure building up and I become entangled, then I must be thinking with ordinary people's notions. When a cultivator thinks about an issue from the perspective of the Fa, there is always a feeling of the path forward becoming wider and wider. I had an opportunity to work with another practitioner to clarify the truth to the people in China. We were not familiar with each other before, and his Chinese was not very good. I was surprised that he was able to open up quickly and share with me. He told me he felt the people in China always had a bad attitude toward him, and he was jealous of me because I was doing better. I told him that I was not doing as well as he thought, and what he saw might be a false appearance, because jealousy can make people see false appearances. I was surprised that I said this. I felt it was Master giving me an opportunity to examine the problem of jealousy from another angle and telling me this principle. I also got another important inspiration from it. Opening up and sharing more can effectively resolve and eliminate barriers, and these barriers and suspicions are the soil for the growth of jealousy. I will keep cultivating this issue, and I am determined to get rid of my jealousy. Part 2. Eliminating resentment. I have expectations for the outcome of everything. When reality does not meet my expectations, I feel unhappy and resentful. I look outward, blame others, and feel resentful and jealous. Then I say things like, "The outcome shouldn't be like this. It's all your fault." I'm driven by emotion and often react to things based on how I feel physically or emotionally. I'm happy when encountering good things and feel resentful when things don't go my way. The demon in my dimensional field, who specializes in fanning the flames, uses my emotions to create the substance of hatred and resentment. I gradually realize that I'm easily driven by feelings and emotions. When my emotions fluctuate, I try to calm down and think about why I feel overjoyed or have resentment, anxiety, or fear. I realized it was because I didn't look at the situation as a cultivator. I recently had 2 experiences of letting go of resentment. One was after a project was completed, and a team leader indirectly but harshly accused me. The other was when my Xingxing was not good. I was continually being insulted by people I phoned in China. Even though the incidents didn't seem so bad in hindsight, when they actually happened, I felt like I was being beaten, and the substance of resentment really wanted me to hate the other party. I tried my best to recall the Fa principles, hold back my anger, and not have resentment for the other party. I felt that my thought karma was growing like weeds, and it tried to prevent me from studying the Fa. When I'd read the Fa, I couldn't focus. Thankfully, other practitioners encouraged me to keep reading the Fa. Then I suddenly noticed some sentences in the book that I hadn't noticed before, and I gradually sensed this demonic substance clearly. I firmly rejected it. As I continued to read the Fa, my heart suddenly opened up, and this substance was completely removed. I felt a lot of joy, and I couldn't hold back my tears. It seems that my knowing side new master was helping me eliminate this demonic substance. I experienced a positive incident recently. I realized that I was about to hear some unpleasant words, and that demon was about to act up again. I believe I was able to restrain it quickly because I now have the desire to cultivate myself. I also now look forward to others pointing out my shortcomings that I have not yet found. I feel this will be very helpful for my cultivation. I'm so grateful for Master's compassion. Whenever I don't do well in cultivation, I always find the answer in the Fa, or find clues in things or people around me. I know that as a practitioner, I can't be driven by my emotions. I should cherish the people and things that expose my emotions. I should take these situations as opportunities to improve, deny the old forces arrangements, open my heart, respect others, and walk the path of assisting Master in Fa rectification. Thank you, Master. Thank you, fellow practitioners.
The following is an experience sharing article entitled Experiencing True Joy After Letting Go of My Attachments by a Falun Dafa practitioner in China. The article was published on the Minghui website on July the 4th, 2023. I began practicing Falun Dafa in 1998 and I'm now in my 50s. I appeared to have symptoms of a stroke on July 19th, 2020, when the left side of my body became partially paralysed. I couldn't lift my left hand or even hold a napkin, and I lost control of my left leg. My tongue felt stiff, and when I tried to talk, I could only say one word at a time. Doing the simplest things took a great effort. My forelimbs and back were in pain. I became alert and re-examined my cultivation state. I realised that I must have some issues. As I lay in bed, I realised that all the tribulations I experienced were not important. Only being able to cultivate well and eliminate my attachments mattered. 3 practitioners came to see me the next day. Their kind encouragement moved me. A practitioner kindly and frankly told me that I felt resentment. I was a bit surprised. After they left, I began to think about what she said. My life was difficult for many years. After we got married, I realised that my husband would not support our family. He didn't care about his family and would not financially support us. He frequently lied and bragged about himself. He also had a bad temper. He had a big ego and didn't want to do any household chores and was disloyal to me. He recently borrowed some money from my relatives. Due to his being irresponsible, our family's financial situation and life were very tough. I resented, hated, and looked down on him. I didn't understand it. I treated him with a true heart and worked tirelessly for the family. Yet his behaviour was so bad. I couldn't snap out of it, even though I knew my state of mind wasn't right. I felt very bitter and wronged. The practitioner's words were a wake-up call. Thinking back over the years, I cultivated with regular people's principles and held on to humanness. I hadn't followed the Fa to cultivate myself and was attached to human principles. I am a practitioner. Wasn't this terrible? I came to understand that it was exactly this strong resentment that was taken advantage of by the old forces, so I had this tribulation. I deeply regretted my attitude and made up my mind to rectify myself immediately and do well. I let go of my resentment and stopped thinking about what happened in the past. I treated my stroke as a good thing, an opportunity to improve myself. I believed that Dafa was omnipotent and I would for sure recover from this illness. I began to do the exercises more often. I did the standing exercises 2 or 3 times a day. When I couldn't do the movements properly, I tried my best. Every time my left hand dropped, I lifted it up. When the pain from my left knee was unbearable, I just held on as long as I could. In my day-to-day life, I didn't want anyone to look after me. I tried to do everything myself. I wasn't afraid of hardship. It was summertime, so when I did anything, I ended up soaked in sweat, but I didn't mind. I tried to study the Fa more and sent righteous thoughts often. When I couldn't sit up any longer, I held the Dafa books and sent righteous thoughts. I was alone during the day. When I was tired, I took a nap. After I woke up, I continued to do what I was supposed to do. I didn't feel lonely or sad. Even though my third eye is not open and I can't see other dimensions, I truly felt that Master was right beside me, watching over me. Benevolent Master adjusted my body multiple times. I could feel my body going through small changes every day. The following week, I was able to walk downstairs. When I experienced discomfort, I was surprised that a stroke could be painful. I realized Master was adjusting my body. I only had to endure pain for a short time, and then it was over. I believed that if it weren't for the protection from Master and Dafa, I could have been bedridden due to my karma. When people have a stroke, they often never fully recover. However, I'm almost back to normal now. During the process, I let go of my resentment towards my husband. I felt that what happened in the past was so far away and had nothing to do with me. I reminded myself that I was a practitioner and stopped being muddle-headed. I knew I had harboured the attachment of pursuing a good life in ordinary human society for the longest time, so I had tribulations. My cultivation path was so rough, almost to the point that I stopped practicing. I truly appreciated Master, who didn't give up on me, but still treasured me and gave me an opportunity to correct myself. After I let go of resentment, I realized that I could calmly accept many things. I felt that every difficulty was no longer a big deal and that I could get over it. In my day-to-day life, I noticed I had some positive changes, including that I could endure my husband's bad habits. I reminded myself that he didn't lead an easy life. I also felt that he was pitiful. I could truly hope he would become better, and I appreciated his contributions and praised every bit of his good behaviour. My husband also gradually changed for the better. He became more caring about the family, and even washed clothes and cooked. He also acknowledged my ideas, and no longer interfered with what I did. For instance, he stopped being so nervous about our weekly group fast study, and only reminded me to pay attention to safety. I regained my freedom. Everything just happened so naturally. I enlightened that my feeling so relaxed and free was due to letting go of attachments. I felt cultivation was so miraculous. I realized that Master helped me, and I was able to sit upright in the full lotus position. For more than 20 years, the only way for me to be able to sit in a lotus position for an hour was to expose my lower legs. Otherwise, I couldn't. Before I started meditating, I had to press down on my legs, but I still had difficulty bending them. I didn't want to give up, but I didn't know what to do. I also hoped that I could be like other practitioners who were able to sit upright. After I improved my Sing Sing one day, I suddenly realized that my lower legs were flexible and I could easily pull them up. I can now read the Fa while sitting in a full lotus position for an hour and a half without feeling any pain. I feel very excited, for I have realized my dream after so many years. This also strengthened my determination to improve my Sing Sing. Thinking back on my cultivation path of the past more than 20 years, even though I had a lot of karma and my enlightenment quality was poor, I was fortunate to begin practicing Falun Dafa. I, a person who has struggled with sentimentality for millions of years, who is full of lust, confused, dull, selfish and egotistical, have become a noble being who is no longer entangled in fame, self-interest and sentimentality. I am able to treat others well, and I am willing to give to others. What a blessing this life is. I am grateful to Master for everything he has done for me. But I am so far behind compared to truly diligent practitioners.
Thank you for listening to the Minghui Radio podcast. For more information, including news about the persecution of Falun Gong practitioners in China and experience sharing stories by practitioners around the world, please visit our website at en.minghui.org.